What's up everybody, it's Bradley back on the channel Tripleinc. Thank you for stopping by this video and taking time out of your day to watch this and be here with me. It's going to be a little bit of a change of pace video on my channel, I guess. This is going to be a video all about my favorite fragrances that I've ever smelled. This is probably going to be the most subjective list I've ever put together on my channel. There's going to be no crazy intros or any animations or anything, just going to be me talking to you guys about these fragrances that I absolutely love. It's going to be a little bit more of a lengthy video, so if you got some time, you can kind of maybe grab a little snack, sit down, and just watch through this video with me. And so guys, I get this question a lot, whether it be in the comments section or when people find out that, you know, I'm very much into fragrances and do reviews like this, they will always ask me, hey, so what are your favorite fragrances? And that is a really loaded question. If you ask any fragrance reviewers / hobbyist enthusiast this question, they will probably self-destruct. I'm not joking. I mean, we smell so many different fragrances on a daily basis that it is very difficult to kind of pick and choose our personal favorites. But this video I'm going to be showing you all my personal favorite fragrances. You know, I've been on my fragrance journey now for about 2 years, and I've had an amazing opportunity to smell some truly wonderful fragrances. And actually I have a little fragrance origin story coming out later, I think next month, so for any of you who are interested of how I started and got into fragrances, that video will be just for you. And yeah, that about does it for this little intro. Before I start this video, I'll make sure that you go in the comments down below and tell me your absolute favorite fragrance in the world that you have ever tried, just based on smell alone. Let me know about that. I would really love to hear that. So stay tuned, the rest of the video is coming right up. So let's get into it. This was actually a pretty difficult list for me to put together. I love so many fragrances I have in my collection, and it was really tough weeding them out. I was just looking at all my bottles and I'm like, oh, I really want you to be in this little list, but I'm sorry I can't, because this one is just a little bit better. That's what I found myself doing a lot, but I think I've found probably my 10 or so favorite fragrances that I've come across so far in my fragrance journey. I hope to smell many, many more amazing fragrances, and honestly this list will probably be completely different by this time next year, but so far in my fragrance journey these are my favorites. Start off with this one. This is Dior Homme Cologne. I first discovered this, I think in the Macy's, maybe 2 years ago I want to say, and I absolutely fell in love with it from first sniff. I think it was in the wintertime when I first smelled this, and I popped the cap and it was like transported me straight to summer. This fragrance actually has a cooling vibe to it, and it's one of the only fragrances in my collection that actually has a cooling sensation that I can actually pick up with my nose. The best thing I can compare this to is like Italian lemon ice or something like that. If you've ever had that, it's a frozen sort of shaved ice that has like a really nice lemon taste to it. That's how this smells. It's very cooling, refreshing, and in my opinion still my only fragrance I will wear when it's 100 degrees or hotter out. It's just very simply constructed, only has 3 notes. I believe it's bergamot, it has grapefruit blossom, and it has musk in there. It is super refreshing. I love this for the summertime. I have really great summer memories with this one, especially from last year, and it's one that you can just spray on a bunch and be good with. And yeah, ever since I first smelled it in that Macy's, I think I had it on my hand, I had to go back and buy it. I got halfway out to the car and I was like, nah, that's not going to happen. I'm coming back and buying this bottle. And still to my day, this is a former #1 on last year's summer list, so it has gotten some very high praises and high marks from me, and I really appreciate this one. In my opinion, one of the best fragrances from the house of Dior. Love this fragrance. Okay, next up is actually a tie. Don't worry, this is the only tie in this list. These are both from the same house, and honestly, if you were to ask me which one of these is better, I pretty much couldn't tell you. It just depends on the mood I'm in. They're both from the house of Carolina Herrera, and we got CH Man and CH Man Prive. Start off with CH Man. This is the original one right here. First of all, gorgeous presentation, but all I care about is the scent in this video, and the scent of this is amazing. It's one of the most unique leather fragrances that I have, and also one of the first leather fragrances that I purchased. It has a burnt sugar kind of a vibe to it as well. Just really, really good. It's almost gourmand, has green grasses in the opening, kind of a sweet little fruitiness in there as well, and it has this creamy vanilla and woods as the base comes into play. I mean, really a beautifully constructed scent. This has so many different facets and is actually pretty complex to my nose. Overall, I love this kind of sugary, high energetic sort of a vibe that it has, but it has this leather masculinity. I find it so interesting and so unique, and I just keep coming back to this, one of my favorites to wear in the autumn time. I think it's really great for that. It's a compliment getter, but for me, the scent, it's amazing. As for CH Man Prive, this is a flanker to CH Man, obviously, and this is definitely more of a private sort of a scent. It smells more luxurious and a little bit more expensive. This is a little bit more masculine as well and more mature. It has whiskey and this really nice tart little grapefruit pop in the opening that smells so amazing. This is one of my favorite designer boozy fragrances that I've ever come across. It has leather in the dry down, especially as you get very much into the dry down. This really nice alpha male leather sort of comes up to the top. Cardamom in here, and a really nice, healthy, full rounded tonka bean as well. This fragrance is sweet, it's boozy, it's delicious, yet it's refined and masculine, and the leather just comes across very nicely. Overall, this I feel like is more for the wintertime, and I enjoy this one more in the fall. Both of these are absolutely amazing. Every time I wear them, I'm like, why don't I wear these more? And they just smell superb. The quality in here, I love these two fragrances a lot. Okay, next up is really the only little tiny sample I have in this list, and trust me, I would own a full bottle if A, it wasn't so ridiculously expensive, and B, if it wasn't pretty much extinct by this time, very difficult to find. This is from the Dior La Collection Prive, and this is Nizza. This is my absolute favorite from the private collection from Dior. I think it's even better than Fave de Luceuse, which I also own, that didn't make this video right here. I love Nizza, guys. This is an absolutely hidden gem. I've been hearing a lot of really good things about this one, and I picked it up sort of late fall, winter time, and I was hooked ever since the first time that I got it. I actually, no joke, haven't sprayed this since December. I just caught a whiff of it. It's a little hot and humid, and I literally just got a whiff of this little sample. The performance on this one is great, but the smell is what I love about this one. It's a very just luxurious avant-garde fragrance that is really unexpected and unique and different. It has one of the best cinnamon notes I've ever tried. Just the cinnamon really comes across as very natural and spicy. It has a somewhat chalky incense in here as well, so it's spicy and smoky up top. It's really beautiful. It just envelops you and just makes this very amazing, spicy, smoky cloud. As this fragrance starts to dry down a little bit, you get the white honey in here, and this white honey note almost smells like cakey, creamy, sweet, delicate. It's beautiful, and it just combines with the smokiness and the spiciness so well. I mean, it's mouth-wateringly good, but yet not a gourmand. And to cap things off, there's just a little bit of this light, delicate kind of a rose that sort of wafts and flutters in and out of this composition. Really masterfully created. I think this is a very artful fragrance, and I just so much appreciate it. This really sort of turned me on to what niche fragrances can be. I love wearing this around Christmas time. I have so many great memories from last Christmas of wearing this one, and I just absolutely love this. For the colder weather, this is one of my all-time favorites, and if I could find a bigger bottle / a bigger decant, I would, but this is getting very hard to find, discontinued for a while now. I really wish that Dior would bring this back, because this is just an absolute masterpiece in my eyes. Nizza, I love this fragrance so much. I'm so happy that I picked it up. Okay, next up, this is also from the house of Dior, and kind of crazy to think this is probably my favorite Dior now that I think about it. I gave this a 10 out of 10 in the review that I did last year on this one, and it has just been an absolute mainstay in the spring and summertime for me. I've been talking about it quite a bit on my channel ever since I started up this channel, actually, and this is Dior Homme Sport, the 2012 formulation. This stuff is just amazing to me. I'll leave the review that I did linked up there somewhere. And I remember the first time I ever smelled this, I got this on a package, and I was breathtaking. This actually kind of transported me, like the mental image, to almost the Mediterranean coastline, like somewhere in Greece with the waves kind of coming up in like a nice sort of outdoor restaurant. I don't know, this just really took me aback of when I first smelled it, just transported me to a different place. Kind of amazing how scents can actually do that. But in terms, technically, what we're talking about for the notes, Dior Homme Sport is lemon, and it has citron up top, a very nice sort of a gingery vibe in there as well, so it has this sort of fresh spiciness, and it is very bright and uplifting. Also the iris, which really makes this fragrance. This has a little bit of a powdery aspect to it, which is so unique because the powder and the lemon go together very nicely. And if you combine that with one of the best bases I've ever come across, it's green, grassy woodiness, kind of cedar in the base. This only has 5 notes, but it smells so much more complex to my nose. Dior just has a way of making these fragrances so delectably awesome. And this is one that is like a personal confidence booster to me. I feel extremely confident and very sort of in my own world whenever I wear this. It just puts me on a different level and in a different frame of mind. This has a playfulness to it, yet it has a sophistication which I just keep on coming back to. I love this one so much. The scent quality is there. It does have a sporty vibe, but I think it is very chic in the way it comes across as well. I don't know, I just love this fragrance. I keep coming back to it. Honestly, a little surprised that it made it this far up in this little list right here, but honestly, it is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite from the house of Dior based on smell alone. It is awesome. The 2012 is where it's at. I haven't come across the 2008 formulation. I have never smelled that one, and I do like the 2017, but in my opinion, nothing can compare to this one, the 2012 formulation. Alright, next up, call me basic, call me cheap for putting this one in the list. Probably one of the cheapest fragrances out there. But if I'm honest, I love the way this fragrance smells. I know a lot of people hate on it, but I don't really see why. I think this is really enjoyable. This is Nautica Voyage. Kind of predictable. This is pretty much one of my favorite summertime fragrances that I've ever come across. It's gotten me some of the most compliments I've ever received in the summertime as well. And just on the smell, this is one of those that when you instantly spray it, the second it comes out of the bottle, it's amazing, magical. I get these cool, crisp, chilled, refreshing cucumbers in here. I know there's no cucumber listed, but I definitely get a cucumber scent from this. Maybe a little bit of apple in here, maybe a little bit of melon as well. It's just fruity and cooling and refreshing. This smells so youthful, but it's just so nice. I will admit the dry down isn't the best. It just kind of gets clean and musky, but the opening is really where this one is at. It has a little bit of a green notes in there as well. It's not really sea salty, but it does give you an image of being out on a yacht. And for some reason, every time I wear this, I just fall in love with the fragrance, especially the top notes. Maybe some of the best opening I've ever come across in a scent. Just, it's fresh, and it's so invigorating and uplifting and very inviting as well. It's just super easily approachable. This fragrance also has great performance, but it made it in purely based on the scent of this. That's how much I personally love this one. Like I said, this may not make any of your top 100 list even, but this is my personal list, very subjective to me. I have lots of great memories with this, and I just love Nautica Voyage. The quality in here is outstanding for the price that you can get it at. And I'm just really taken aback. Honestly, if this was in a Creed bottle and they're charging Creed prices for it, I wouldn't think twice. It really has Creed quality to my nose, especially in the opening. It's that good. So this is a really great fragrance, Nautica Voyage. I love this stuff. Okay, now we have somewhat come into like my top 5, I guess. And these top 5 are easily my all-time favorites so far, as I said, so far. Maybe next year this list could be completely different, who knows, except for my number 1. That's probably never going to change. But these 5, most of these are actually new acquisitions of mine. And starting off with this one, possibly the best top notes I've ever come across. The first time I smelled this, I was just knocked off my feet. This is 1 Million Prive from Paco Rabanne. Now, I was never the biggest fan of the original 1 Million. The bubblegum vibe was kind of childish and a little bit off-putting of how loud it was, and it's very sweet, very playful. So I had some kind of mixed thoughts going into this one, but let me tell you guys, I don't know if I've ever had just the craziest first reaction to a fragrance as this one. I was inside of Macy's. I think I had that first impression maybe on footage. I can't remember, but I did a video back on it a little while ago, last year, and just that initial blast in the opening, straight out of the bottle, just like Nautica Voyage, it's absolutely breathtakingly awesome. This, oh man, it's like gingerbread cookies is instantly what came to my mind. It has a little bit of an orange, sort of a bubblegum-ness that dies away very quickly. That's the only thing from the original that this has in here. But it replaces it with cinnamon, tobacco, like the hookah tobacco smoke. It also has myrrh in here. It's very resinous and sweet, and has a little bit of a citrus brightness to it as well. It's so crazy how this is like definitely I would say a gourmand fragrance, very sweet and loud, but it has this like really nice bright pop in it that just offsets that sweetness so nicely. As this dries down, the patchouli definitely comes up to me. The dry down is pretty good, not the best ever, but I really appreciate this, and it is in this high in this list for the top notes. As I said before, probably the best top notes I've ever smelled in a fragrance. As soon as it comes out, it is just like sweet heaven, basically. I would say go check out this 1 Million Prive, even if you weren't the biggest fan of 1 Million or of the entire house of Paco Rabanne. I know they're kind of a polarizing house if people like them or don't. Give this one a try. I think this is so much more mature, I would say, than the original 1 Million, and it really took me aback of how good this one is. I love this one in the cooler weather, the winter, and in the colder fall days as well. And just that opening, you can tell by the color of the juice, it's pretty dark. This fragrance is very potent, and that amazing spicy, sweet gingerbread molasses cookie opening gets me every single time. Okay, next up, I think this is the newest fragrance that I have purchased on this list, I want to say. I got this one this spring, and it has quickly come up this far in the list. That shows you how much I love this one right here. This is from the house of Etet Livre d'Orange, the only fragrance that I own from this house. So glad that I checked this one out. This is called Remarkable People. Love the name, love the concept behind this one. I actually discovered this one through Scentbird, and I'm very glad that I did. This fragrance, guys, is almost perfection for me, really. This is as close as I think I may ever come to a signature scent besides maybe my number 1. This is very versatile, but in the smell alone, this is the only fragrance in this list that every single time so far I have worn it, I have literally said wow within the first 3 or 4 minutes of the opening. Doesn't matter if I was in the car, in public, around a bunch of different other people, I just said wow vocally, because that's how much this fragrance just blows my mind every time I wear it. Right off the opening, it has grapefruit and champagne. One of the most unique openings. It's fruity and has this fizzy, bright, effervescent, bubbly, yet somehow smooth, almost creamy champagne note in here. And it combines with this tart little grapefruit just to make one of the most amazing openings I've ever tried. Also, there's a little bit of ladamum in here that sort of comes up underneath it, and all those things coming together within the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's jaw-dropping how good this one is to me. Every single time I wear it, I'm like, this is it right here. This has to be my favorite fragrance of all time. And it also gets better from there. As it dries down a little bit, the cardamom comes into play. That opening kind of dies away. The grapefruit champagne are out of there. And what comes in, the cardamom, it has almost this little bit of a candied sweetness. The ladamum in here for a creamy, silky, smooth, almost creamy sweetness, I guess, as well in there, and a little bit of sandalwood, I believe, as well. Once it dries down, it gets this sexy, musky silkiness in the dry down. From top to bottom, I love every single second of this fragrance. I mean, it's really hard to beat this in my opinion. These next 2 or 3, that are in front of us, somehow 3, are even better than this one, if you can believe that. I love this fragrance. I haven't had it for the longest time, and I'm sure it might be even higher next time I maybe do one of these videos. I love it that much. So Remarkable People, go check this one out. I think it's an absolute hidden gem. Nobody really talks about this one. I think that's a shame because it has one of the best openings and dry downs, unique scents I've ever tried. Really, really a sleeper. Okay, this is my technically number 3 spot here, and I will be getting a full bottle of this one. Mark my words. I'm still rocking with a little 5 ml decant of this one, but trust me, I will get a bottle of this if all else fails, because I never, ever, ever, as long as I live, want to be without this fragrance. This is from the house of Parfums de Marly. It is Habden. Oh, wow. Wow, that actually just really transported me back to last autumn. This is pretty much my all-time favorite autumn scent so far to date, and I have made so many amazing memories last fall with this one. Whether it been going to corn mazes, whether it be going to fall festivals, or maybe like Halloween sort of things outdoors, this was the one that I wore basically every time I had a special event in the fall, and it just really reminds me of that. Very nostalgic, very sentimental fragrance to me now. So I actually first discovered this one when I was inside, I want to say, it was a Nordstrom's, I believe. It was up in DC. I went last fall. I had like a golf tournament up there, and I said, hey, let me stop by DC and kind of go fragrance sniffing. And I'm so glad I did, because I saw all the Parfums de Marly fragrances that were sitting right there, and I said, Habden, that sounds pretty interesting. Let me give it a try. Without actually even smelling it first, I asked him to make a sample of it for me. I took it on the way home. Fast forward to about 2 weeks later, I saw it sitting inside my fragrance cabinet, and I'm like, you know what? It's kind of mocking me. Let me spray this one on. I really want to see what it smells like. And ever since that time that I sprayed it on, I remember that day very specifically, I was hooked on this one. I was absolutely hooked. So kind of crazy, I actually discovered this one by accident, if you can imagine that. And it's really awesome how that happened, because now it's one of my all-time favorite fragrances, right? Okay, let's dig into the scent of Habden. This is pretty much one of my all-time favorite just scents based on smell alone. The 2 big things that are in here are the frankincense and the myrrh. The frankincense and myrrh, those are actually one of my all-time favorite notes now because of this one. The myrrh in here is very resinous, almost has this shiny sort of a texture to it, if that makes sense at all. And the frankincense is kind of dark and smoky a little bit at the same time. It's very dense and sweet right there. You also have caramel and apple. Caramel and apple, boom, that's fall right there. That's fall festivals. The caramel adds a little bit of a sticky gourmand sweetness to this one, while the apple provides a freshness in the opening especially, and a touch of this little bit of a fruity vibe. And you combine that with a dark, big, bad, bold saffron note. Adds just a really nice, deep spiciness to this fragrance that complements everything else so, so well. This is one of the best blends in my collection, I would have to say. Just the quality in here, everything from top to bottom is superb. As it dries down, the frankincense and the myrrh, I would say, become a little bit more apparent, and the smokiness then definitely starts to set in after that, because that frankincense and the myrrh, it has a resinous smokiness that really starts to take in. It's just one of the best fragrances that I own in my collection, guys. I love this stuff, and like I said, we'll be getting a full bottle of this very, very soon, and I cannot wait for fall to come back around so I can make some more amazing memories with this one. So this has a very special place for me. Habden is pretty much one of my all-time favorite fragrances, so go check this one out. You may think it's a little bit underrated from the house of Parfums de Marly, because this often gets overshadowed by Herod and Pegasus, but Habden, man, you should go check this one out, I'm telling you. Oh wow, this is at my number 2 spot. I'm looking at it right here, and I have no idea how this is at my number 2, how this couldn't be my number 1. This is from pretty much my all-time favorite niche house, hold off on that official statement right now, but that's what I'm sort of thinking. I discovered this house, I want to say at least two years ago in a sample discovery set, and it's pretty much turned into one of my all-time favorite niche houses, and this is why I love citrus fragrances. This house turned me on to that. By now, what's the only citrus niche fragrance house I talk about? Of course, it is Atelier Cologne, and this is their gem, Bergamot Soleil, right here. Now, Bergamot Soleil, this is a very nostalgic fragrance to me. This is very reminiscent of my hometown. The first time I ever smelled it, it actually brought me back to my hometown, which I used to live around the west sort of side, Rocky River, which is near Cleveland, Ohio, so right up in the Great Lakes, I guess, if you will. And this one just brought me back to sunny days in my childhood, going to, let's say, the park in the summertime in the morning. That's exactly what that brought me back to. And also, I wore this fragrance pretty much almost every day when I was up there for vacation last year, and I'm going up for vacation there again in about a couple of weeks, and of course I'm going to rock the heck out of this one up there. It just really reminds me of my hometown. I made so many great memories with that, and that's personally why I love this scent so much. It's so tied to me emotionally. This smells to me like rays of sunshine, happy days, great memories, good times. That's what this is. Now, from a note standpoint, this actually features one of my all-time favorite notes. That is a note of bergamot. It's a citrus. It's kind of green, and this one uses it in a super unique way. This smells just like very bright, sweet, almost tangy bergamot. The way I would describe this is it has almost, if you can imagine what a glazed donut, the sugary sweet glaze from a glazed donut. Imagine bergamot flavored glaze icing on a donut, I guess. That sounds kind of crazy, but that's exactly what this to me smells like. It's got this little bit of sugary sweetness, and it's very bright, citrusy bergamot. Pretty linear, actually, but the opening is absolutely stunning. It grabs me every time, and I just love this citrusy vibe that it has. One of the best summer scents, and as I said, it smells very sunny, very happy, bright, and very optimistic. I do have a full review of this fragrance. I reviewed it actually when I was up in Ohio last year. I know the lighting is pretty horrible in that one, but I feel like what I had to say in that review is definitely worth your while, so I'll leave that video linked up there if you're interested in hearing my full thoughts about this one. But I mentioned this one a whole lot on my channel. You will be seeing it in my upcoming niche list for summer fragrances that I have coming up for you next month as well. Bergamot Soleil, my absolute favorite from the house, my absolute favorite bergamot fragrance. I could go on and on. This is pretty much my hometown in a bottle. I will always wear it when I go back there, and this one will never leave my side. So guys, thank you for sticking with me in this video this long. I know I kind of rambled off and went on a couple little tangents, but thank you so much for sticking to my all-time favorite fragrance ever. This is just in terms of smell, in terms of nothing else. This is actually the fragrance that got me into the collecting hobby and also into YouTube, I would say. So this is pretty much why I do all this. I can contribute that and give you a thanks to this fragrance right here. This is actually a pretty inexpensive designer scent, and it's been out for a long time. A lot of people probably have swept this under the rug and completely forgotten about this. Now, before I show you this fragrance, I'm going to tell you a couple little stories about this one. This is really the second or third fragrance I ever purchased, so it was one of the newbies and one of the ones that actually got me in. And I remember distinctly the first time I actually bought my first ever fragrance was Mont Blanc Legend, and I was going into Macy's, right? I know I overpaid for that one, and I saw this fragrance sitting there. This bottle really caught my attention. It was in this glass case, so I actually couldn't smell it. Now, I didn't ask the sales assistant to let me smell that one, and this is almost like a metaphorical thing. I saw this amazing bottle sitting in this case, and I couldn't get to it, and that really bugged me for some reason. That really was like, I wonder what that smells like, and I just kept thinking about it. Sure, I bought my Mont Blanc Legend and went home with that, but that stuck in my mind that this fragrance was sitting in that case, and it was just like, wonder what that smells like. So fast forward, I want to say, give it about 2 months. I was on summer vacation. This was 2015. I was up in Ohio. I went to the country club. I was playing some golf there, and right before I started my round, I went into the men's locker room. And of course, they have all these different aftershaves in the bathroom and cologne sitting there. And lo and behold, I saw this fragrance sitting there. It was calling my name. I just instantly saw it. I'm like, that is it. This is my chance. This is my opportunity to go and smell that one. And ever since that day that I sprayed it on and went and played my round of golf, I've been hooked on this one ever since, and I just have fallen head over heels for this one. Needless to say, I had a great day that day, and ever since then, I'm like, I gotta try this fragrance. I actually didn't end up buying it for another couple months, and I would actually go into Target and, let's say, Macy's on purpose to actually spray myself and smell this one. And I'm like, yeah, this is it, this is for me. And finally, once I said, I'm gonna get serious into collecting, I bought this one, and boom! it started, my collecting hobby started, and then a couple months later, a little bit while later, my YouTube career started. And that's basically the story right there, guys. I'll be going much more into that in my fragrance origin story very, very soon. That was a little sneak peek of that. And this fragrance is a Xaro Chrome. Now, Chrome, for a lot of you guys, is probably a cheap synthetic designer scent that you think smells like crap, but to me, it is me in a bottle, I would say. The first time I ever smelled this, I thought it was the most unique thing I'd ever put my nose on. I was like, seriously, wow, this blew my mind. This was like, is this what fragrances have to offer? What else could be out there? This really got me interested in all these different fragrances and how much more amazing smells could be out there. I've worn this so much now, it just gives me such a calming vibe whenever I wear this. I feel calm, I feel within myself, I feel at peace whenever I throw this one on. So right away it has this metallic vibe, which I think is the thing that grabs my nose, because this to me was very unique. I never smelled anything metallic in a fragrance like this before, and still really to this day haven't smelled anything like this at all. It has some citrusiness in here, it has a little bit of a fruity tropical vibe, it has some woodsiness, somewhat aquatic as well, lots of different things going on, but at the end of the day this is a masculine fragrance. Like I said, I just feel really, really at home when I'm wearing this. I don't know what it is, it just gives me a certain level of confidence whenever I wear it, and I kind of like the synthetic vibe that it has. I don't know what it is about it, it's just really addicting for me to wear for some reason. And Chrome, guys, this is why I do this. Make sure that you wear Chrome in honor of this amazing fragrance and in honor of just bringing me into the fragrance community and all those great things. You know, I'm not sure if I'll ever come across anything that can beat this for me. You know, I have many more years, hopefully, of my fragrance journey to come yet. Maybe, who knows, one day this will fall out of favor with me, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. This is, for me, just it, I think. I love this one so, so much. Wow, that was a loaded big video right there. So thank you so much for staying tuned and watching this video. Let me know again in the comments, what is your all-time favorite fragrance just based on smell alone. Would love to see what everybody's favorite fragrances are so we can kind of compare and just kind of get that conversation going down in the comments. Now, I'm recording this video a couple days early, but this video will come out on my birthday, and I'm turning 21 this year. That's a big year, so hopefully I'm going to have a great day that day. Again, you have a ton of great videos for me to look forward to over this summer. I got a fragrance origin story. I have many more top lists that are coming out, of course, many fragrance reviews and all these different types of videos. Can't wait just to share with you guys my experiences, and hopefully we can progress together on our fragrance journeys this summer. I think that's enough motivation. I think that's enough hyping for this video. I'm going to see you guys later with another video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for some more updates and videos that are coming up in the future, and I'll see you back with another video. Peace.